Hey, somebody better get Doug Henning on the phone because we got a cruise ship magician looking to make a cruise line's money disappear. Also, there's a new way to book a cruise that is gaining some popularity, and Titanic 2. This sounds like a crazy idea, but to one person with a lot of money, it's their favorite idea. Would you? Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. For your face on Monday, the 18th of March, 2024. And before I jump into the cruise news, let me go ahead and address the controversy. Yes, I know that Doug Henning has passed away. I just like Doug Henning, and I just don't want anybody to burn their fingers out so quick in the show trying to tell me that Doug Henning is not alive anymore. It's poetic license. I was going to make a Houdini reference, but I was sure I would not be able to escape the comments if I did. Houdini's not alive. Maybe he is. You don't know, but you weren't there. Cruise news story number one, a magician who still is alive and kicking, Ben Murphy. He was on a cruise ship last year out of Australia, the Royal Caribbean Quantum of the Seas, when he was tackled on stage while doing his show. Now, here's a picture of what happened prior to the tackling. You do see it looks like a little tete-a-tete, a little closeness of the faces between said magician, Ben Murphy, and a volunteer from the audience. Well, this apparently got a little too close for comfort for the lady's male companion, who proceeded to get on the stage and knock Ben Murphy to the ground, tackled him, causing him to hit his head. And it didn't seem like much happened to the passenger that tackled the cruise entertainer. He was seen reveling and having fun on his cruise for the rest of the cruise. And now, a full almost 1 year later, we have Ben Murphy looking to get reimbursed for his medical challenges. $75,000 for medical bills and the challenge that he's had with the reoccurring pain and the whole deal. The story is back in the news. The lawsuit was filed back in December, but now the court date is approaching. Ben Murphy continues to tour with his magic, but this will be one of those interesting court cases based on the outcome to see if it will change anything on cruise ships. Certainly, it's inside the policy for Royal Caribbean. If there is a guest who assaults another guest, or a crew member, entertainer would be included in that, then maybe something should have happened to them. So it'll be interesting to see what all the facts are when they flesh out in the court case. It's important to note also that Royal Caribbean Group, not the only party targeted with the lawsuit. Also, the person that did the pushing, the tackling, that gentleman also targeted with the lawsuit. But it does open up a series of interesting questions. Did the fake makeout go too far? Does it seem reasonable that the man got enraged? And I guess the second big question is, should Royal Caribbean pay for some of this incident, Ben Murphy's incident on this cruise ship of theirs? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Now, before I get to cruise news story number two, I need your help, because sometimes I am socially awkward and I'm running into a scenario frequently that I'm not sure how to handle. It involves my coffee. So, frequently I will stop at the Starbucks on the way to the office just to get my Trenta cold brew black. But because Starbucks sells food products, they now have a new, protocol for how they take your order. And so you pull up to the window and the folks at Starbucks will say, "Hey, welcome to Starbucks. Can I get you anything started for breakfast?" And then I say no. And then you would think immediately they go, "Okay, well, what can I get you?" Well, most of the time they don't immediately say, "Well, what can I get you?" There's like this long impregnated pause. And then they finally say, "What can I get you?" Like 10, 15 seconds. So my assumption is that they're sitting there waiting for me to go ahead and get my coffee order when I say no to the breakfast items. But then I'm over there on the other end trying to be polite, waiting for them to solicit me for my coffee order. So what am I supposed to do? So when I say no thank you to the food, should I immediately launch into no thank you, but I would like a Trenta cold brew black? Or is the waiting the right thing to do? How do you do it? Any baristas out there that can tell me, Starbucks baristas, what's the proper protocol? Thank you. Thanks for your help in advance. Cruise news story number two. We have a cruise line taking reservations in a new way. Fred Olsen, you could do it a few ways. You could get online and put in all your information and book a cruise. You could certainly call on the telephone and talk to a customer service representative and book a cruise. You could use a travel advisor, a travel agent. You could call them and book a cruise. Well, there's a fourth way. Fourth way, carrier pigeon. I'm just kidding. It's not carrier pigeon. It's a video call. They have been piloting a new program where people make a video connection with a booking agent for Fred Olsen, and you book your cruise that way. So far, they've done it for 800 people, and they're calling it a big success. And I don't know, maybe it falls under the, like, do we even need this kind of thing? But it is interesting to see companies try a different way to make the booking experience better for people. What do you think? Do you think being able to actually see someone at the company that you're booking a cruise with, do you think that's a good thing? Or do you think it's maybe something that we don't even need? I don't know. Interesting though, and I'm glad they're trying it. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 3, big news coming out from Margarittaville at sea. If you don't remember, I'll remind you, they recently purchased a new old cruise ship, a Costa cruise ship, that they're now working to transform into Margarittaville at sea Islander. This will be Margarittaville at Sea's second cruise ship. The Islander will join the Margarittaville at Sea Paradise. Paradise at Sea cruises out of the port of West Palm. It does very short cruises down to Freeport in the Bahamas. Well, the Islander will be positioned on the other side of Florida, port of Tampa, and it will be doing longer cruises, even exploring some of the Western Caribbean. Now, we do have an update on the old Costa Atlantica, soon to be the Margarittaville at Sea Islander. It's currently in a dry dock in Belfast, in Ireland, getting transformed from Costa to Margarittaville at Sea. They're going to be working on the interiors. They're going to be putting the branded stuff on there, the JB, Jimmy Buffett, the JB Steakhouse, the whole 9 yards going on. I thought it was interesting just because it's happening in Belfast, and you may remember that there's another famous ship that was built in Belfast. We're talking about the Titanic, and that seems like a great segue into our cruise news story about Titanic 2, but I'm going to interrupt the flow of that great segue to quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of the episodes. Did you know that Titanic 1 was built in Belfast? Thinking about this story, thinking about Titanic a lot lately, I realized I've never shared the day that my friend Don Terrace and I spent in Belfast. And part of it was because part of that day became very heavy. A city, Belfast, torn apart by the Troubles, by a history of violence. And, but it also has the history of the Titanic. Let me share this picture with you. This is me and Don in front of the Titanic Museum in Belfast. A wonderful museum. They call this building the Iceberg. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. What's wild is behind this building is the actual area where the Titanic was assembled and then, pushed into the water, essentially between these red poles. This is the spot. And so this was last year. It was really amazing to go through that museum. I did a lot of Titanic stuff last year, not on purpose. I was at the place that they built it. I was at the place that it sank. I was at the place where people were recovered and brought to. I was in cities where the Titanic visited before it sailed. At some point, I need to compile that all into one cohesive story. A fascinating Titanic year for me last year. But with all of that said, what's the best way to honor Titanic 1, one of the most significant seafaring vessels in our mindset, in our mind because of the catastrophe? I guess the answer to that question probably depends on your bank account. If you're just an average Joe like me, you just go visit stuff and you're reverent about people who passed away from the Titanic. But if you got $1 billion, if you're a billionaire, then you make billionaire decisions. And maybe, can we agree that these billionaires sometimes make interesting decisions? Go to space in an interestingly shaped rocket, buy a social media platform, or possibly replicate the Titanic? This has been the dream of billionaire Clive Palmer, who had originally, thought about having Titanic 2 ready to go in 2007, but delays, and of course we had shutdowns later in the 2000s. All of this stuff has delayed the appearance of Titanic 2, but essentially it's going to be like a replica of Titanic 1 with all of the old furnishings, the old cabin styles, going to have about the same amount of people. The ship's going to be about the same size, just a little smaller. And essentially it means you're going to be able to go on and cosplay or to relive what it was like to be on Titanic, hopefully to a point, right? Like we don't want to relive it the whole way. But the question that is begged is, do we want this? Is this like saying, hey, maybe we could try to recreate the Hindenburg? Is this that kind of thing? Or is it really a nice homage? Is it really a nice tribute to those that lost their lives, to the history of sailing, cruising? It wasn't necessarily a cruise ship, ocean liner. Is this a nice homage to that, or is this just goofy? Would you sail on Titanic 2? Yeah. Leave a comment below. Boom. That is your cruise news. Thank you so much for watching the show on a Monday. Hope you're having a great Monday. If you like the show, please hit the like button. If you dislike the show, feel free to hit the dislike button. Hit it twice. Thank you so much for checking it out. Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.